the Silver Grove Update 2. Now, weirdly, they've added a generic Corpus announcer to Corpus ship tile sets. That's pretty much all we want to know from that. Let's turn around and head over here instead. Because the biggie here comes from the Syndicate melee weapons. All these things are going to be amazing, I hope. Please show me the stats. Yes. Okay. Weirdly, it doesn't look like these have the Syndicate effect on them. They have their own kind of effect. This one is called Justice Blinds. Basically, while blocking, the damage that it does will build up the thing in the... I have no idea. It builds up a charge, and then when you unleash it, it'll do a radial blind effect, rather than its Syndicate effect. What I cannot find for these, however, is what mastery level you have to be to get these. But 125,000 standing puts it up par with the weapons that do cost... No, they cost the same. It does need mastery rank 12 to get the primaries. No idea on the secondaries. So what mastery they've put on these is going to be... Well, I just don't know at this point. But actually looking at this, the normal Sidon does 3.75 impact. This does 4.3. But this does 80.8 puncture. The normal one only does 71.25. The status seems to be about the same. The crit has gone up 5% though, which is really good considering, well, the normal one of these weapons, it was okay, it just could have been better. This is much better. The Telos Boltace from Arbiters of HEXIS. Is it Arbiters of HEXIS? It is, isn't it? I didn't forget the name, you can't prove it. Seems to be kind of the same. The impact damage is the same as its normal counterpart. The puncture on this is 72.3, its normal one is 68. And the slash is actually lower because it's 8.5 on the normal one, but only 4.5 on this. But again, the normal one has a 5% crit chance with 25 status. This has got 25 status, but does have more crit. Again, more crit on these weapons. And it costs roughly the same, 125,000 standing. And of course, whatever Syndicate weapon you want, you do have to max them out. Spinning attacks will deal damage to all enemies within range with this. That's its little bonus perk thing. They've all got it. I'm trying to remember where it was, but yeah, this one was by TunaMayo. Don't know if that's the in-game name or forum name or what. But the rest of these were... The weapon bonuses were by the Design Council collaboration, apart from the parent sequence one, which we'll get to when we get there. The Synoid Heliocor will not be using. The physical damage is kind of better. The impact is... lower. It's 102 on this. It was 119 on the normal one. The puncture is 12. It was 14 on the normal one. And the slash is 6. It was 7 on the normal one. It gets worse. The crit, which was 25% on the normal one, is 10%. They've turned the Heliocor into a status-based weapon, giving it 20% status, whereas its normal one was 2.5. That is kind of a nerf to the normal Heliocor, but not at the same time. The reason I say this is its bonus effect thing. It still performs a Codex scan, not a simulator scan for Samaris's rep, a normal Codex scan, but any enemy that it has fully scanned, I should say, it will recompose as an ally. That's right, this thing is now basically a portable Necros. which could be really useful if you are somebody who has played a lot and has everything scanned, or has been wielding the normal one of these and has scanned everything. That's a hell of a bonus, despite the fact that it has basically lost all of its damage in favour of status. This could be bad for the weapon. Actually looking through this, and this is the one that Orangi, I really didn't want to pronounce that, that's probably completely wrong, but they're the one who give this its double credit drops on kills, its bonus thing. My issue with this one, more than anything else, is the fact that they've taken the 11.25 impact, 11.25 puncture, and the 52.5 slash off the normal Lecter and given it 75 electricity damage. Makes sense, it's an electrical weapon, but they've taken 96 physical and made it 75 elemental, and they've given it 25% status, which, okay, that's what the normal one had, and 5% crit. The normal one had 5% crit, so apart from this thing being very useful for credits, 125 standing for it isn't exactly the most useful of these weapons. Some of these are actually becoming quite a letdown. The more I look into these, I'm starting to get kind of, I don't want to say upset, but I really don't want to say disappointed because I haven't tried them yet. They could still be really useful weapons. Red Veil's weapon, the Rakta Dark Dagger, if I'm reading this right, when held you will have reduced visibility, which means you have a melee weapon that won't make you invisible, but will make you harder to see. It's also a radiation weapon, which is useful for radiating people. Weirdly, the normal one's 35. This is 50. This does more damage. The status is the same. The crit is the same. 5% crit, 10% status. So that's not a real change, but it does do more damage. And it's got an attack speed of 1 over its normal ones being, what was it, 0.917? But that's not all it does. It reduces the shield's targets, restores your targets while you hit people, I should say. I don't know where my brain went with that one. It restores your shields and creates overshields. This instantly became not the most powerful, but by far possibly one of the more useful of melee weapons, because the fact it can restore shields is very useful. And lastly is New Loka's Magister. This thing actually looks really promising. It took the normal one's 64 impact and made it 96. The normal one has 12 puncture, this has 18. The normal one has 4 slash. This one has 6. Status chance is still the same at 20. Status is 10. Crit is still the same at 20. But it does have a massive fix that the normal one doesn't have. And that is its attack speed went from 0.83 to 1. This could be useful. Not only for that, but this basically has a built-in life strike that works for you and allies around you. Because it, as it says, turns enemies' pain into healing pulses that washes over allies. So when the Syndicate effect thing goes off on this, it will heal you and allies around you. That is basically a built-in life strike. That could be really useful. Not only that, but it creates a resistance to status effects when held. I am going to wreck Rock so hard with this thing. And he's going to bring out his fire, and I'm just going to stand there and laugh at him. Of course, there are changes and fixes to these. I will put a link in the description to the forum post for this and everything that happened with this when it comes to fixes. And there was a couple changes, like the one that I mentioned at the beginning with the generic Corpus announcer on Corpus ship tile sets. I don't know why I went to say sheep. That makes no sense at all. But they also fixed a bunch of other things. What I liked is the first thing on fixes says, fix the pistol amp aura mod, not increasing pistol weapon damage. One thing that I did forget to mention, if you press the show player list, it's usually Z, though you may have to go and check it for some reason. Mine didn't work, I had to reassign it. It will show you how many reactants other players have in Fisher missions. As you can see, 7, 9 and 6. That is insanely useful because I'm sick of doing these missions and people leaving while I'm still trying to collect some. And this right here is why I couldn't find the other ones. They were underground. And as you can see, somebody's got 10, which means there is 10 of these now on the map. And finally, we'll leave this off with the... Technically, this is the 7th weapon of this update, and nobody can have this. I think with those people that are a few days ahead, it's about 13 days. Possibly less. It's about 2 weeks away for most of the people who have been playing this since update 18 and the login reward system dropped. I think it's the 300-day login reward. So nobody can have this yet. I think the first day this becomes available is October. I have no idea. I just kind of came in here to check on the stats for a different weapon and came across it, and this doesn't look finished because if you look at the actual thumbnail for it, it's textured in the middle. But this is just unfinished. So I'm not sure if this has been put in here as a troll, whether it's been put in here to build up hype, but I want this thing now. I don't want to wait 2 weeks for it. I want it now. Frost has a hold of it and I can't use it. That's just tormenting us. But anyway, we'll leave this off here for now while this thing goes behind Frost. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch yous next time. Me wanty.